You book that cruise and you're all excited because it's bought and paid for. That is, until you board the ship. And you're faced with a ton of add-ons that the cruise line wants to sell you. Now, some of these add-ons provide good value to certain cruisers, but others are a complete waste of your money. So today I'm going to give you the 7 biggest money wasters and tell you what you can do to get almost the same thing for free. I'm Gary with Optimal Cruising, bringing you the cruise insider information you need to avoid mistakes, save money, and protect yourself so that you can have your best cruise yet. When I first started cruising decades ago, it seemed like almost everything was included in that cruise, including room service. You could order whatever you want 24 hours a day. No extra charges, no extra service fees. But today, service fees are a real thing, and all major cruise lines charge them in the realm of about $10 per order. Now, it doesn't matter typically how much you order, although certain cruise lines are starting to put some restrictions on that as well. But every time you place a room service order, you're going to hit about a $10 charge on your account. While most cruise lines don't charge this for a continental breakfast, if you don't stick strictly to that continental menu, you will be charged the room service charge. If you happen to order an omelet with that or hot eggs with that, you'll be charged the room service charge. Here's the interesting thing I discovered on most cruise lines that I have been on. The items that you can order via room service are the same items you can find on the buffet most times during the day, or the garden style or similar cafe venue that most cruise lines have on board their ships. You can always bring any of this food right back to your room and enjoy it there or on your balcony. You're already paying for it in your cruise fare. So skip the add-on room service charge and go and get exactly what you want. You'll have a much greater choice of items than on the typical room service menu anyway. And while $10 might not seem like all that much, if you do room service several times during your cruise, it can add up quick. Let me know in the comments below if you think the fee is worth it. I was recently on a 7-night Norwegian cruise where they wanted to sell an add-on of about $250 to get into the adult-only Vibe Beach Club. Now, this is a nice area on board the ship that you need a special key pass, I think, to get in there, or a code to get in there, and you have to pay for that. And in there, they don't allow kids, and it's a secluded deck where you can enjoy the sun and have nice peace and quiet. But there were several other areas on the ship that were also adult only and free. And more cruise lines are moving to this type of model where they secure a deck or a certain portion of a deck for adults only, and they're charging an entrance fee to that. But the quiet and serenity that you're looking for doesn't have to come with a price tag, because most cruise ships have other adult-only areas, especially if you're on Royal Caribbean. They usually have a solarium that is adults only. Some other cruise lines like MSC have certain pool areas and deck areas that are adults only and completely free. So you don't need to necessarily upgrade into a high-end experience to get away from the noise and away from all the kids. I was on the MSC Seascape not too long ago, and I watched a family with 3 kids rack up almost $100 of charges in less than an hour, letting them ride this Robotron ride a few times in a row. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but if you're going to spend $100 on these premium attractions in one afternoon, think about what that might add up to over the course of a cruise. And cruise lines are more and more now adding on these types of premium attractions that you have to fork over some extra money for. There's roller coasters on cruise ships that'll cost you about $15 per ride. There are some go-karts that you can run on certain cruise lines and cruise ships for, again, about $15 per person per turn. Carnival has an IMAX theater at sea that they charge per showing if you want to see that. But there are so many included attractions on these cruise ships, especially the mega ships, that it's not worth it paying that add-on for these premium attractions. I mean, if you think about it like this, going on a roller coaster or a Robotron or doing go-karts in the middle of the ocean on a cruise ship might seem like a cool idea. But if you went to an amusement park back home, you'd get a lot more value out of that money. And there's so many other things on these cruise ships like flow riders, water slides, rock climbing walls, things that you can do for free and they're already included in your fare. Would you pay extra to do one of these premium attractions at sea? Let me know in the comments below. A lot of people tell me that when they think of going on a cruise, their first thought is all-included food. But when they get on the cruise, they realize that there are a whole lot of premium upsells or add-ons that the cruise lines want you to buy in addition or instead of the food that they're giving you that's included in your fare. And I'm not talking about specialty restaurants here. I'm talking about upsells for a steak or a lobster tail in the main dining room, or spots on the ship where they're actually selling you ice cream or gelato when you can get soft serve ice cream on most ships for absolutely free. Cruise lines will also try to sell you add-ons like special tasting menus or chef's table experiences. But the general food on most cruise lines is pretty decent. The main dining room food is still of a decent quality. The buffet food, depending on the cruise line, can be really good. So you can save that upcharge on all these extras they're trying to sell you and enjoy what you already paid for. Use that money to splurge on something else once you get back home, or put it towards booking another cruise. And then if you're the type of cruiser who likes to purchase the drink package, there's one catch that most cruisers don't think about. I'm going to get to that next. But first, if you're thinking of booking a cruise, we maintain a list of the best cruise deals you can book right now. If you'd like a copy, just comment deals or click on the deals link in our description. There is a ton of discussion out there about whether or not cruise line drink packages are worth it. I've even got some videos on this topic myself. But the truth is, there's not one right answer for everybody. It does kind of depend. But there are some unusual things about how the drink packages work that are worth considering before you pay that hefty add-on price. Cruise lines like MSC and Carnival have already began limiting passengers to 15 alcoholic drinks per day on the drink package. Princess also does this on their basic tier. And other cruise lines may follow in these steps. But what doesn't make sense is if they're going to put a cap on the number of drinks that you can get, why can't you share those drinks? On all cruise lines, you still must purchase a drink package for both adults in the cabin if one of those adults wants to purchase it. This is what makes it overly expensive for a lot of passengers. This is one way the cruise lines make a ton of money off of these packages. So if you're sailing with somebody and you're both not big drinkers, you can opt to skip this expensive add-on and go a la carte, and it might put some extra money back in your wallet. Next, I'm going to get to the one add-on that still tricks a lot of cruisers. But first, if you would take a minute and subscribe to our channel, hit that like button. It helps us grow and you won't miss our next video. I recently did a shore excursion through the cruise line in Belize to go to Gulf's Cay. And it was really enjoyable because they picked you up right from the ship, which is at a tender port, so you're not actually at a dock, and they take you right to the island, and you have no inconvenience, and you don't have to actually even go into the port. But I only book shore excursions through the cruise line when it is convenient, like when the ship is at a tender port, or when it's an excursion that is unique that I can't find anywhere else. But usually, on most cruises, especially in the Caribbean and Mexico, there are a ton of the same excursions being offered by third-party independent providers. I have links to two of them that I use, Viator and Shore Excursions Group, in the description of this video. You can check them out and compare prices because in most cases, you can do almost the same or even a better excursion than the cruise line is offering and save between 20 and 50% off of the cruise line's price. Cruise lines make huge profits off of their shore excursions. They elevate the price and make a big commission off of any passenger who books. And they tell everybody that if you don't book a shore excursion through the cruise line, the ship will not wait for you if you're running late. And while that's true, there are almost no circumstances of passengers missing the ship because they booked with a reputable third party and were late getting back. In fact, most people report that when they book through a third party that has good reviews like Viator or Shore Excursions Group, that these providers that are running the tour are hyper vigilant about getting you back early. They have such a time window cushion that there's almost no chance that something will make you late. And if you're worried about a guarantee to get back to the ship, some of these tours offer that too. In fact, all of Shore Excursions Group tours offer a guarantee to get you back to the ship. And if they don't make that, they will not only get you to the next port of call and pay all your expenses, but they'll also give you $1,000 in compensation. That's an offer that tells me they're going to make sure you don't miss that ship. To me, this is one of the steepest add-ons that cruise lines try to force on us by playing on our fare. But you don't have to be afraid if you book with a reputable third party and have a great time on an excursion that will typically be smaller in size. You'll have more of a hands-on experience and you won't feel like you're on a crowded bus or boat with 60 other people. Some cruisers tell me that even though the main dining room, the buffet, and oftentimes other venues are included in the cruise fare, they like to have an upscale dining experience 1 or 2 nights on the cruise, and sometimes they'll shell out the money for one of the specialty restaurants or maybe get a good deal on a specialty dining package ahead of time. But cruise lines are very clever in how they try to add on charges even beyond that. For example, on Royal Caribbean's popular Johnny Rockets venue, you can pay the cover charge and go in there and eat, or maybe you have a specialty dining package and you decide to eat there, but if you want one of their milkshakes, there'll be an additional charge for that, unless you purchase the drink package in addition. Or if you're going to splurge at Chops Grill or Cagney's on NCL, not everything on the menu is included in that cover charge or in that dining package. They're going to have some premium steaks, some premium cuts of meat that they're trying to sell you at an upcharge beyond your cover charge. This goes on at a lot of these restaurants. Ocean Cay's Seafood Restaurant on MSC. If you get in there with the basic charge or the dining package, you can have a basic menu experience, but they have a lot of add-ons like the cold seafood tower or the grilled seafood platter, which includes some premium things, but they want you to pay extra for that. If you're already splurging on a specialty restaurant or you bought a package that includes 2 or 3 nights at a specialty restaurant, skip the add-on charge and enjoy what they have. It's already at a premium level. So now that you'll avoid some of these unnecessary add-ons on your next cruise, a lot of people make some mistakes when figuring out if that drink package is really worth it. I'll tell you all about that math right here.